Welcome to the video. This is the first video of a number of videos I plan on doing on the prices of Pokemon cards from a month-by-month and week-by-week basis. I'm going to be looking at price increases, looking at American market data, despite being British, because it's more widely available, and just providing a little bit of commentary on why those cards may have moved, or whether it's sort of a organic, natural increase, or whether it is a artificial pump and dump from our lovely, notorious Discord servers. I'm not very flashy. I won't be doing promotional stuff, and I will try to keep it succinct while including some useful information. So these videos came from a spreadsheet that I put together to track Pokemon card data as sort of a side project. Data and data analysis is something that I enjoy doing professionally, and so I brought that into the hobby sphere, and I just thought that perhaps this kind of information would be useful to other collectors, people interested in investing in Pokemon cards or collecting Pokemon cards, or just generally keeping track of what's going on in the Pokemon world. So yeah, if that's your cup of tea and that's something that you're interested in, yeah, then give this video a watch, and if not, I'm sure there's plenty of other people rambling on YouTube about the value of Pokemon cards. Okay, so let's kick things off. Number one, we've got the Mew EX. Now, this Pokemon card is from the Mew and Mewtwo box set from 151. I imagine it started life as a fairly cheap card. A lot of those promos back then were fairly cheap. They were in abundance, and I think this was prior to the really big Pokemon hype that has occurred over the past year. This card has steadily increased over the past 2 years. Has been reasonably stable until recently, whereupon it has seen a 93% increase in this past month, going from £28 to £55. I think it is a beautiful card. I don't think anyone denies that. It's got beautiful colours. It's a lovely, cozy scene. It's just a lovely depiction of Mew, quite frankly. And I think it is it's a very valuable card. And I think it's going to be very popular when people look back on this set. Whether it will continue in this upward trajectory as so aggressively as it is currently doing, I do not know. But yeah, that is a hell of a significant increase. I do think it is going to maintain a good value. Whether it will maintain this value, time will tell. Okay, number two, we have got the Pokemon Center Stamps version of the Charmander promotional card. This, again, is a lovely card. I do like the cards with the base set Pokemon and the Pidgeys. It's a lovely little interplay there. This one in particular, we've got a very cross Charizard that he can't get the Pidgeys outside. Reminds me of my of my cat staring at windows at birds it can't quite reach. So yeah, quite a lovely scene there. This card obviously enjoyed a fairly relatively high price point due to the inflated value that the Pokemon Center stamp brings, and has been reasonably stable up until recently, where as you can see the value has jumped up massively. In the past month, that is a 92% increase in value from 81 to 156. No, I know that's in UK currency, but it will be more expensive on the UK markets, as things do tend to be. But I imagine with the sharpness of the price increase, there's probably a little bit of market manipulation here. There's another Pokemon Center stamp card in this top 10 that's seen a similar treatment. I think it is a beautiful card. I do not personally think that Pokemon Center stamps are really worth the additional money. That's my take. Whether it's a good take or not, time will tell. In the same way that Pokeball rares and similar things haven't necessarily held their value, I do think it is quite gimmicky, but then equally I can appreciate that it's a certain amount of scarcity associated with that. So very, very lovely card. Whether it's worth the current £150, I really don't know. Okay, number three, we've got the Snorlax promotional card. This is a lovely card. I particularly enjoy the Diglett that has had its path blocked by the big sleeping Snorlax. I think it's just quite a comical scene. Lovely, 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 idyllic, picturesque artwork here. This is a card that has been relatively cheap for a long time. It's been pretty stable at about £6 for some time. I think I picked mine up for about £6 a couple of months ago from Card Market at that price point. Sorry. In the past month, it has seen a huge increase in price. It's, of course, jumped up to just over £15. Has settled a little bit, but has maintained some of that value. I think on British markets this has been going for almost £20, which is a significant increase. But on American markets, we've gone from £6 to £12. So yeah, a very, very big increase. I do think this card is somewhat undervalued. I do recognise that a lot of these promotional ETB cards were in abundance sort of earlier in the year. But this is certainly one that could continue to rise. Okay, number 4. This is the second Pokemon Center stamped card on our list. This is the Mimikyu. Quite an interesting art style for a Mimikyu card. We typically get the dark and gothy scenes, but maybe this one is a little bit more sinister. You do wonder what the Mimikyu is planning for the little old lady. This has jumped 86% in the past month, from £26 to £49. And its current support card without the stamp has also seen a slight increase, but obviously significantly cheaper. This does seem not so organic. Similarly to the Charmander card, it does feel like groups of people are pumping this card, particularly because of the low population of the Pokemon stamped center versions of those cards. But as you can see from the chart, this is almost a cliff edge with how quickly this price has spiked, despite its relatively consistent price value over the previous months. So yeah. Okay, number 5, we have got the Mew EX, otherwise known as Bubble Mew. They do say that if a card gets a nickname, you know it's going to the moon, and it's certainly the case in this card. It's one of those cards that is very, very, very beautiful, but I really do feel there is a better Mew in the Scarlet and Violet era, but that's just me. This card's value is astronomical. In a past month, it has gone from £271 to £501. It's an incredible increase for a card that already was insanely expensive, and again, another jump this past week. What else can be said about this card? It is a beautiful card, but the price is unbelievable. Whether it will go higher, I mean, yes, I guess if you sort of reflect on the current raw value of a Moonbryon, that card, of course, has also gone astronomically high. I do think this is probably going to be one of the most expensive cards from the Scarlet and Violet era. But yet, continues to grow. 84% in 1 month. Unbelievable. Okay, number 6, we've got Neo Upper Energy. A card here not for its scarcity or its art, simply because of its usefulness in the Pokemon trading card game. I believe this card is particularly meta at the moment, but I'm not an expert in the area, so I will say no more. Okay, number 7, we have got the Charizard EX from Obsidian Flames, and this is an absolutely beautiful Charizard. And there are some good Charizards out there, I must say. But this one by Akira, absolutely beautiful artwork from a wonderful, wonderful artist. Has seen a reasonably steady value over the past couple of months, but recently has absolutely skyrocketed, particularly as I believe Obsidian Flames will also be moving out print. Maybe not just yet, but certainly not the most popular of sets. But this card is absolutely gorgeous. I do believe that this will continue to grow. It does feel a bit artificial at the moment. That is quite a cliff face of price increase, but I do think that a higher value is likely going to be the way forward for this card. But a 78% increase in 1 month, absolutely brilliant, but well deserved. It is an absolutely beautiful card, one of the best Charizards of the era, particularly as I know the 151 Charizard is also very, very popular, but I just think for that raw energy and power that the Charizard yields, this really is a card that reflects that. Okay, number 8 on the list, it is the Mewtwo from the Mew and Mewtwo promo box. I mean, if you still have a copy of that promo box, you have got 2 absolutely wonderful cards in there, alongside some 151 packs. Now, this card, like the Mew and many other promos from this era, had seen a relatively cheap starting point, but over time has climbed, and rightly so. It is, of course, a very, very beautiful card, but recently has seen a significant increase. We're at 74% increase this month, £16 to £29. A little bit more spiky. It's not a clean increase. It's gone up and down, up and down, up and down, but then obviously the past week it's seen quite a significant increase upwards, climbing towards that £30 mark. I believe if you are buying this in the UK, you're probably going to spend about £35. which is just mad. I think 2 months ago I bought this for about £20. So yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful card. It definitely one of the best Mewtwo's of the set. I do prefer this Mewtwo over the Destined Rivals Mewtwo's. I don't think much of them, if I'm completely honest. I think Giovanni's doing all the heavy lifting in that card. I think this Mewtwo is probably the better one. But yep, if you bought this card cheap, you are absolutely on for a win here. Okay, number 9, we have the Landorus. An interesting card. It's it's lovely art, but from the black collection. What I find curious about this is usually illustration rares from set start relatively high in the initial period of the release, and then tend to dip off as time goes on, as more cards enter circulation. That this card has seen a monumental increase over the past month, and it looks very, very organic. Doesn't look like the result of some Discord group buying them all out. This does look like a very organic increase in value. 72% from £13 to £23, and I know that's relatively cheap still, but yeah, very, very impressive movement upwards. And finally, number 10, we have the Kingdra EX from the Special Illustration Collection from Shrouded Fable. I personally love this card to pieces. I think it's an absolutely beautiful artwork. It's moody, it's dark, it's very artistic, it's very Japan. The determination in the Kingdra as he attempts to swim up a waterfall is it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card. Special illustration rare, texture on it as well. It just has everything going for it, and understandably has maintained a reasonably good price point over the past year, but has jumped quite significantly over the past 2 weeks even, percent from £29 to £49. And what I think is interesting about this is the box sets were still being sold up until about a month ago, 2 months ago. In fact, they were on offer, they were on sale. I remember one of our online vendors in the UK, Chaos Cards, they were selling this for £36 a box. And I think it was limited to 3 per customer. So it wasn't something that was in specifically high demand, but it's one of those cards that you look at and you think, surely everybody knows this is going to be an incredibly valuable card. I really, really think, and it's not because I'm sitting on a couple of these cards, I really feel that this is comparable to the Bubble Mew, to the Mew, to the Mewtwo, to the Magikarp in terms of the quality of the artwork. So yeah, absolutely brilliant card. I do think it will continue to climb. You can see there's been a bit of a spike as supply dried up, and that has maintained itself. So we'll see what happens. I do think it's probably going to continue to increase. Okay, that's the end of the video. I just want to say thank you if you got this far, and if this kind of content is something that you're interested in. I know there's not very much in terms of flashy editing or complex scripts and lots of jokes. It really just is a straightforward conversation about the value of cards and where things are going. And if that's your kind of thing, then please do subscribe. It will encourage me to continue to create content. I'm sure if I get 20 videos in and the only person watching is my mum, I might throw in the towel. But hopefully someone gets some value out of this. I mean, I certainly am very interested in the movement of cards, and I have found that other websites didn't really provide this kind of information. So sort of making the tool myself and then sort of realizing that perhaps other people might enjoy that. Anyways, thank you very much and take care.